a very common problem for agencies and consultants and coaches is that you are the only one who knows everything, right? So you're the brain behind the operation. You're nothing moves unless you actually touch it. You press the button, you click this, So the question is, how do you shift from being the doer to being the owner, right? Without the whole thing really, collapsing. So it's actually pretty simple. Like most of the things we discuss are pretty simple. So you need to understand that you're running a business. If you are a freelancer who's doing something on the side, that might be a little bit different. But if you want to have a team and if you want to focus on growing the business, you have to step into being the owner and doing the things as the business owner, not as the doer. It doesn't mean you cannot help the team. It doesn't mean you can never touch delivery. If you love it, then that's awesome. But what it means is that you have processes and systems and approach to empower your team to deliver the work. And this is what it means. When I say systems or processes, it just sounds very kind of complicated. But what this really means is that you basically need to have different ways on how you delegate to your team the tasks and the projects in a way that those projects and tasks are executed so that your clients get results, right? So what it means in practicality is that when you're moving from being freelancer to running a business in a more productized way with a team, you have to start with documenting how you do things, documenting how you deliver, documenting how you get results for the client. And so it's a pretty difficult moment because you just naturally do those things. You just naturally, deliver. You get results for the clients in a natural way. And so it's not as easy as it sounds, but you have to sit down at the end of the day, and this is what I recommend. At the end of the day, document what you have done today, what kind of tasks you have delivered for the client, what have you achieved, what kind of process you followed, even if it was natural, the kind of like unconscious approach to those things, you document that. And that is your first step to SOP, standard operating procedure. Right, so you create that documentation. You create you go through documenting process. You create a first draft of SOP, then you run through it again, and you're like, this is not making sense. Well, this is maybe not in the right order. I jumped a little bit, but that's not how it's supposed to be, right? So you change those things around, but you still keep the majority of the document. You just clean it up a little bit, and then when you have a team member, you give it to them, and that team member runs through that process and asks you any questions that they might have about, how do you do this, or what is the next step? Like if there's anything that's not clear to them, then you update that SOP to make it clear, right? So once this is done, you then ask your team member to run through the procedure or follow the process to try to deliver the outcome for the client. And before you deliver the actual outcome to the client, you analyze this, you go through the deliverable together with your team member to see if you achieved what you wanted to achieve, to see if the result is what you wanted. If yes, then you can deliver. If not, you tweak those, you tweak it so that the quality is there, so that it's according to expectations. But at the same time, you tweak the SOP so that in the future you're not ending up in the same position where something is missing, right? So you're like, okay, well, follow these steps. How come we don't have the same result? And so you go back to the SOP. Oh yeah, we missed this step or that step. This shouldn't be here. Whatever. We have to expand on this, right? So now you have another version of SOP, and then you create that, and then you run another test with a client. You run this the same process. You again with the team member check if the quality is there. If the quality is there, fantastic. If not, you go to go and follow the process again. You refine it, and you run this as many times as you need until you see the result is there for the client. Once it's there, you can completely delegate this task to your team member so that they can actually deliver for the client.